Few weeks ago, someone asked me how I decide what salvages I keep, because I had put out a little video showing you how I use salvages as a center square in my friendship stars. I'm still going to put out a block on that for you guys, but I just haven't gotten the time yet. It's on the list. Everything now is on the list. But I thought I'd show you. So here are some. When I look at my salvages, I kind of just cut out the parts I want and throw the rest away because I don't need to keep all of that salvage. And I always give myself like a 1/2 inch to each side so I can make adjustments and stuff. Like on this one, I might eventually not use these two here that are just the outlines, or maybe I'll use those and not use those, or only some of these. It just depends. Or maybe there's just a word, like here, part of the title was playtime. Can you see that? There you go. So I might just use that. So here I have a couple of salvages, and I thought I'd show you what I need. So this is Prairie by Lori Holt from Bee in My Bonnet. Now, I love the name of her company, Bee in My Bonnet, because my mother used to always say, do you have a bee in your bonnet? About something. So I'm just cutting out the words, Bee in My Bonnet. Okay. As in, not in Lori Holt, but just the phrase Bee in My Bonnet. And here, the title of this is Prairie. So I'm cutting out that word. I might use that. And I might not use all of that. And that's fine. I mean, I might eventually throw them away. But I like to have them, and I keep them all in a little storage box. So this Riley Blake print is called Indigo Garden. It was by Heather Peterson. See, it gives you all the really cool information. And here is some of the decorative parts. So I am going to cut that because I don't know if I might not need like a splash of this color at some point. So I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to keep the part that says Indigo Garden. That's kind of a cool name. I like that. So I'm going to keep that. And the rest I will pitch. Now, I want to show you guys, because I don't know if anyone's ever shown you or told you what the salvages mean. So all of these colors here on this salvage, those are the strike-off colors or the print colors inside this fabric. Let's see, do I have a bigger piece of that fabric laying around somewhere? Yeah, here we go. So here is that fabric. So all of these colors are being represented here, okay? And it helps the designer, and it can help you too when you go to match fabrics and stuff. If you take your salvage with it, you know what colors you're looking for, and all you have to carry is that little piece. Then it tells you who manufactured it, so Riley Blake Designs. Pattern, and it gives you the number, so that can be helpful, especially if you're asking your fabric shop to order something for you. Having that information is very helpful. Again, this is part of that same collection called Indigo Garden and we saw before it was by Heather Peterson. So that's kind of the information you get there. And I'm going to snip the Indigo Garden here because now I have Indigo Garden in 2 different colorways, so I could use it in different colors. And I am definitely cutting all of that. So I'm going to give myself a good 1/2 inch on each side. Even if when I cut it there are letters or something there, that's fine. That could go into a seam, or I could trim it up even more. And that probably, I mean, I could use all of this as one strip, but I don't know if I will. I might just cut it in half, or the way this is laid out. So if I wanted blues, I could use those 3. If I wanted kind of yellows with blue in it, I could use those. Here are my pinks and oranges kind of colors. And again, here are some more yellows and blues and like a white with an outline. So I could cut this up and use them in different ways if I needed small pieces. Now, in Sunday's video for the block of the month, the May block of the month, I mentioned to you all to start keeping a little baggie or a zip baggie or a box or a bin, whatever you want, with your scraps from making your log cabin blocks. So you'll end up, when you trim, you'll have pieces this size. You'll have lots of pieces like this. Do not throw those away. This one, you'll have the square sizes like this. So keep these. You can see just from making a few blocks, I already have quite a bit of fabric going on here. And I have some. So there is that one from the indigo line there. That's the fabric itself. And do I have one from the other indigo garden piece? Maybe not right now. But I've got lots of others in here. So keep all of these in a box or a bin, because later in the year, we're going to be making a very scrappy quilt, and you're going to be using all of these. And yes, we will be making it on the embroidery machine. You guys are going to love the technique. You've kind of seen this technique in traditional quilting, but you've seen it differently. You've seen it very structured and very specific. What we're going to be doing is brand new for the embroidery machine. So you'll want to keep those in there. And then I suggest you also keep your salvage pieces with it too. If you want to keep a separate bin so that you always can grab salvage pieces, cool, no problem there at all, right? You can do that. But keep these, because you're going to be able to use these in the quilt that we're going to be making later in the year. All right, everybody. So that is this little vlog for you. I hope that answered the question that I received and explained more about how I go about keeping my salvage pieces, and to remind you to start keeping your scraps. Now, if you're a scrap keeper anyway, rock on. That's great, because then you're going to be ready. But don't throw these away, because these will be really useful later in the year on that project, which is a mystery. So yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is until later, but all I'm going to say is start keeping them. And then let's see. Yeah, these are cute. I like these. I love looking at the salvages. They started making them so cute. I mean, they're useful cute, right? There's all the colors that was in that print. Oh, and that print is, hang on. I know I have one in here. That print, this, whatever this is, belongs to that fabric. So cool. I like that. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Sew life beautiful. Bye for now. Hi, everybody. So in the first part of the video, we looked at saving our scraps. But in this part of the vlog, I wanted to share with you a couple of water pens. Why do you need water pens for quilting? I know somebody's out there asking that. But if you follow Sew in Common and you piece in the hoop with us, you know that a lot of times I suggest using a wash away stabilizer, and it really works great, because with a water pen you can just trace around the edges and peel the stabilizer away, and that's all you need to do, and then you don't have stabilizer left in your quilt. So we love that. But and I've always told you about this one. So I'm going to flip right now, and we're going to adjust it here. Whoop. Sorry, I've got it on this stand, and I don't want to accidentally send the camera going. Okay, so here is, maybe that's not the best. Maybe that's better. There we go. So here we have the water pen. Well, I call it a water pen. It is really the Clover fabric folding pen. Sorry, I can't put that in straight because of the camera and the angle, but it's the fabric folding pen, and it works great in traditional quilting for what it's made for. And it comes with this little bottle. I call it conditioner. Let's see, they call it a marking solution. That's what they call it here, but I just call it a conditioner. I don't really know what it is, but I don't use it when I'm quilting in the hoop for using wash away stabilizer. You don't need this. So you know, you're going to get it. You could, I guess, use it for something else, I guess. I don't know. But all I use is the pen, and all I do is place water in it. You can use tap water. I use a bottled water because we drink a specific bottled water in our home, because I'm part of I'm a long-term person in a cancer study from when I had cancer like 15 years ago now, 16 years ago now. And so I'm still in that study, and I have to drink only bottled water, and only a few brands are approved for tracking purposes. So I use that in there because I know that if it's really good for me, it must be really good for my fabric, right? Really, the reason the specific brands is not because of the water so much as because of what that bottle's made out of. Anyway, off subject there. But so you can put any water in here. And the other reason I use bottle is because our tap water isn't great. And then the cap stays on. It's nice and tight, permanent cap, or, you know, a nice tight cap. And then the tip is felt, just like you would get in a felt tip marker. And so I just trace, get a little bit of the water come out, and I trace along the edge. And as it sits there and starts to relax and starts to dissolve it a little bit, then I take a pair of tweezers and I come in here. Let's get it where it's, yeah. Okay, it's not really sat quite long enough, I guess. Well, it's coming off. It usually comes off much quicker because I let it sit a little bit longer. We'll just do that a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now it's just going to kind of, yeah, it's just peels right off. And you can do that for the whole thing, or I like doing it specifically for my edges, for my seams. That way I don't have it in my seams. So you saw how easy that worked. And because this is a bigger pen, it has a bigger reservoir. The reservoir is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a good 5 inches of water. So that's quite a bit, and I like it, and I don't mind this little felt tip. I mean, it's what I've been using. But recently I talked to you about, when we've been talking about glue pens, I talked to you about one from this company called Bowen of France. And I love this glue pen. So I went looking to see what other products there are. And there's a whole bunch of sewing products out there by this company. So I picked up, just in the last few days, I ordered the Bowen, there you can see it, the Bowen of France water pen. Looks like this. Now, this is not, it's not called a water pen for like what I did here. This is supposed to take off your tailor's chalk. When you're using your chalk, you're supposed to be able to wipe this on it with just water. There's no conditioner or anything that comes with this. It's just a reservoir that you put water in, and you're supposed to be able to take off your chalk. Now, I have not tested it for that because I don't typically mark with chalk, because except for white chalk, any other colored chalk I know from years of experience is going to end up leaving a little bit of stain until you really wash that quilt multiple times. So this pen is obviously smaller. The reservoir is way smaller. It's only about 2 to 2.5 inches, okay? But it's a great size for travel. It would easily fit into your travel sewing kit, and you can fill it again with tap water, bottled water, whatever. You don't need to add anything to it. Now, I will tell you, I don't know if this is a French thing. I've been to France. I don't recognize that this would be different, but this screws on in the opposite direction than things do here in the US. So when you get it, if you're like, oh, this is screwing on differently, it's not broken. That's just how it is. it makes no difference. It still works. I just wanted to tell you about that. I found that funny. So again, it has a nice tight cap that stays on it. But this one isn't that felt tip. This one is a brush. So really like a fluid brush, kind of like a little paintbrush. And I haven't even tapped onto this water reservoir, and I'm already getting a little damp water on my hand. So that seems good. Now let's bring in, this is the first time I'm doing it, so you guys, we're seeing this together on whether or not this would be good. Now I'm trying to get some water through here. There we go. There's our water coming. And then I'm brushing it. So just like the other pen, you know, the water comes out. Now I will tell you this. This seems to go on right on that seam, right where I put it. With the other one, it kind of spreads out a little bit more. That seemed to go on right only on the seam where I put it. I like that, but I will wet this out on the edge a little bit more. And this is just water, so that's gonna dry up. Now let's put my cap back on. And that's a nice tight cap too. I like that. And let's just see what happens here when I take this. Yeah, this is just peeling off. So that peeled off really, really nicely. Very easy, very quick. I didn't even got less wet than I did before. Now I didn't do this down here, so it's not going to come all the way off. Now it has spread a little bit into the next one over time. But you can see when you do this, you're only getting your edges wet. So, you know, you're not soaking the whole thing to get it out of there, because the first time you wash this, anything will dissolve away. But I like sewing it together without that extra in my seams. And don't worry about this in your wash. It is a wash away stabilizer is just a starch. My plumber told me when I asked him about it when he was out working on my disposal, my garbage disposal, he said, don't worry about it. It's starch. It's just like throwing a pot of potato water, boiled potato water down the drain. It's not going to hurt the plumbing. And I liked that he told me that, even though I had also heard from the company that it wouldn't hurt. I checked with my plumber, and I've been doing this way for years now, using wash away and sending it down the drain with no problem. So, and when it's in your washing machine with your laundry detergent, a mild laundry detergent, that even dissolves that starch away even more. And so you're not going to have a problem with it, especially if you use a warm to a hot water. It'd be fine even with cold water. So both of these worked out pretty good about how they took them off. Now I'll have to come in here and finish this up, obviously, but I wanted to test it. So I like both of those, how they worked. I like this Bowen one because of, I like this brush because I was really able, I'm just going to bring it in here again. So there's my seam line. I really like that I'm able just to put that water on the seam line. It's not going everywhere. So with this one, with the little pen, see, it comes out and starts going everywhere. With this one, see how straight on the line that is? And this one is really already like puddling everywhere. But they're both fine. I mean, I'm not giving up this one. I've got two of them and I love them. And I do love this one for the size of the reservoir. But this Bowen one, I'm definitely keeping this one handy. I give this one a definite thumbs up. There, can you see that? Thumbs up. Because I think it worked really well. And especially, let's flip back over here. Especially for, there, we'll adjust that. Especially for when I'm doing travel work. You know, I think one of these would be really good too. This is completely off the subject of sewing or quilting, but for makeup, sometimes when I get around my eyes, this is just water. I get a little extra down here, Yeah, that's super soft. I'm just gently rubbing it there, and then I could take a small piece of tissue or something and dab that and get any extra eye makeup off. So I might even buy myself one to use for that reason. So there we go. So Bowen, great. Has the brush, the cap, smaller reservoir, great for travel. Or, you know what, if you work in a smaller space and you don't have the space for this big guy here, for some reason, this one worked great. This one by Clover. So this one I know was less money than this, and that's understandable. The reservoir for the Bowen one is smaller, and I'm not paying for this marking fluid or conditioner, whatever that is called. And that is a concern for me because I have bottles of this sitting around now that I don't use, because I only use this for when I'm getting the little bits of stabilizer away on my wash away quilt blocks. So it came, there was a little plastic cover over it, but I saved this. If you want to know the product number, so if you're looking this up, it just says Bowen of France, and the product number is 91779. See that right there? 91. That might be backwards. I don't know. So I'm 91779. I ordered this through the Fat Quarter Shop. I don't know where else they sell these products, but check like Amazon, check your local shop. They might carry them at your local shop. So that is our test for the Clover water pen versus the Bowen water pen. I give them both a thumbs up. I think I actually like this brush tip better than this one. And oh, I'm gonna try something. Oh, this could get very, all right, this could be dangerous. I don't know if this will work. All right, I'm taking off the pen top from the one. Will this screw onto here? No, because it goes on backwards. Isn't that weird? No, it won't screw on. Well, it was worth a try. See how it's screwing on backwards? It's so weird how it does that. I was wondering if the tip of this one would go on this reservoir. That would be cool. It would be worth buying one of these and switching them out, but no mas. All right. No bueno. Okay, that's all right. So I give them both a thumbs up. I can see reasons for having both. I'm going to definitely have both. In fact, I'm going to order myself a couple more so that I have one for travel, one as a spare. I like to have one as a spare. So that is our water pen. As I've told you guys before, you could use any kind. So if you're looking for a brush, try to find a little paint brush that looks like this. They're definitely synthetic tip bristles, and it comes to this kind of a little point like that. That just made following down the seam much lighter and much easier. Now I'm thinking, since you're actually going to have a little less water there, you might let it sit a little bit more, but I think that might take it off a little cleaner. So you can use a Q-tip if you like. No reason you couldn't do that, or use a brush, like I said, but look for a brush that looks something like that. I think you'll be very happy with it. All right, guys, until next time, sew life beautiful.